Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 16 of the Video Lowdown. You might have seen a little bit of promo stuff this morning around this episode. I've got a mystery guest, an undisclosed location streaming live to us today. What could possibly go wrong? Our guest today is literally off grid, no joke. He is somewhere in the UK. I've given it away already because I said he. Somewhere in the UK with a load of gear. I don't know where. I'm not sure what the setup looks like. If you're a regular watcher of the podcast on YouTube, then you may know that the podcast itself, the stuff that you see when you watch it live, is produced remotely by a friend of mine called Martin. He produces the show remotely, edits it. He's got all the assets and pieces it all together live while you're watching. And Martin is our guest today. So I said to him a little while ago, I think we should get you on as a guest. I think we should show what it is that you actually do. And then we decided that, or he decided that he will go off grid completely to a location that I don't know about, but I'm pretty sure we're going to find out soon where he is and how that might impact the show, because hey, it's live and anything can happen. So Martin will be editing the podcast too while we're having a conversation. But enough about that. Now you know who it is. Let's see the man behind the podcast, who you never see, you never hear from. Only our guests do. Martin, how you doing today, mate? Let's do the reveal. Oh, there it is.
Only kidding. I thought I'd just reveal a chair.
Oh, you did. You made me feel as if something was going wrong there, mate. I was panicking already.
No, it's all in hand. It's all in hand.
It's all planned.
Yes.
It's all planned. Martin, how you doing, mate?
I am absolutely average, which is my usual.
Absolutely average.
Level.
Double A.
Yeah,
That's your trademark.
absolutely.
Room to go up, room to come down.
Absolutely. Small steps, you see. If you're below average, small step to get to average. If you need to go above average, small step. So
you're already there. Like it, mate.
We need
little baby steps. Little baby
Absolutely.
steps, mate. So we've been friends for a long time. We chatted way back early this year when the pandemic was kicking off about doing something together in an online, virtual space. The podcast was the baby of that discussion. And we're now on episode 16 and you're the star of today's episode. So I think let's start. We can see you in the tent. We don't know where you are yet. I'm sure we'll reveal soon. And it's going to be quite interesting, but let's just go back to the beginning, mate. Let people who watch the podcast regularly or listen, particularly if they listen, won't know that there is somebody else behind the scenes putting this stuff together. Now, I know this podcast, Video Lowdown, is not the only thing that you do. You're involved in a lot of other projects that are kind of streaming and virtual based, which we'll talk about later. But I know your journey, from being your friend for many years. We've worked together lots, but for the benefit of the audience, how have you ended up in this space? I don't mean where you are in the tent, but virtually streaming wise, what's your journey been over the last, I don't know, 10 years or so?
I'm not sure myself. I just find myself here. No, I started. I'm primarily a cameraman, and I would do different events just as a cameraman, and that's where we first met. Where we first did kind of projects and things together. And I was doing a lot of events in theatres, places like that. I was doing shows, recording shows. And I wanted to find a way of cutting down the amount of post-editing time. So I wonder if there's a way. Exactly. I wonder if there's a way of being able to live edit the show with multiple cameras, have the recording there and then, record the cameras individually anyway, and then if I made any mistakes or I don't quite like that camera angle, I can quickly swap out those shots in a really small edit afterwards, and then it's ready to go to the customer. And people often think that it's a 50-50 split. 50% of your time is filming the event, and the other 50% would be editing. When we know that isn't true. It's more likely 20% of your time is the actual filming
Yeah,
the event, and the
yeah,
other 80% is the edit. And
that's right.
and then you're adding on going home or to your office, setting up again, ingesting all of the material, anything else you need, going through, and it just takes forever. So I wanted to reduce that process right down. The live streaming part of it was bundled with the machine that I used to do this with. And it was something that I ignored right at the very start. It was something that I wasn't interested in. Um, and now I find myself live streaming. I'm not actually sure how it happened. Um, but
Thing is, you were doing that stuff. You were looking at doing that, like the live editing thing with the theatre stuff and the dance performances, like maybe even far back as 2010. And that doesn't sound that long ago, but really for a consumer to be getting that setup, like without hiring in a large team, without hiring in lots and lots of people from almost a TV studio production background, for a singular person to be buying all this kit, having access, making it work, finding the right software, the right cameras, even in 2010 that wasn't hugely done by many individuals. It was obviously many studios and large groups of larger production companies were doing it, but you kind of just started out solo, didn't you?
yeah, I kind of wanted to make this. I don't know. I wanted to be outside of the box. I've always had. Sorry if you can hear some noise to my right. I'll reveal where I am in a while. It should pass. It's going now.
It's going.
Anyway,
I
going
can't
back.
hear anything actually, so it's
Oh,
fine.
I'm surprised. Um, but anyway, going back in 2010, I kind of wanted to be more of a large cog in a small wheel rather than a small cog in a big engine. So
Mm,
I wanted to be able to service the smaller industries, the guys that don't have those 10, 20, 30,000 pound budgets to
yeah,
have large companies come in and stream. But I wanted to give them a service and a level of work which probably doesn't quite match that of a big 30,000 pound production, but is more than reasonable and is at that level where everybody, no matter what business you have or what business you're in, can have access to either live streaming or good quality
yeah,
footage that you can use to be able to promote your company or promote
mm,
the idea that you have. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
looked at the market being okay, there's lots of guys competing for the real big top end, but there isn't anyone who's taking some of the top end technology, bringing it down and making it available for the smaller organization, the smaller
mm,
man, the independent. So that was why I had decided to kind of do that.
yeah. And it's making it fit for purpose, isn't it, as well? So by helping the smaller SMEs and the smaller companies get a foot in the door, you're essentially giving them the opportunity that you're giving yourself. You didn't want to go and be a one man in a 40-man team. You wanted to accumulate this equipment, test it yourself, do it, and then go out and be able to offer a much more, because it is much more affordable to have one person with their kit than it is to have 10 people with their kit, or to go to a studio that costs X amount of thousands a month in rent and all of, do you know what I mean? So you've scaled down your operation so that other scaled down operations can use your services.
Correct. Yeah, and I've made it accessible, accessible for people.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that's the key in all of this, and the the key to what I do work. Now, my business model is awful, as as
I ain't
you
saying
know.
nothing, mate.
Um, it's awful. It really is awful. And
Yeah,
but
but actually
it
though, it isn't if you think about it. Like, so tell the people watching what your business model has been for the last, however many years, but then we'll discuss why actually it can be quite a good thing.
okay. My business model was basically I'm community based, so I do a lot of work within the community, so schools, academies, theatres, small community run projects. And my business model was to kind of be underneath the radar. So you would really only get in contact with me via a phone call or an email. And 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 the idea, I was working a lot with vulnerable, at-risk young people. So a lot of my work back then was working with people who are outside of mainstream schooling. They're in supplementary schooling, and I wanted to show them that success is measured on the goals that you set, and success doesn't have to be gained by following the trends or doing what everyone else does. Success for
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
might be just getting their head off the pillow in the morning, or
Hmm.
success might be being able to, to walk down the stairs in the morning. So I wanted to say to them, look, I do what I do, and you assume that I've done this and I've gone to university and I've done this and I've done this and I've done this, when really I just had an interest in something, and I spent as much time and as much money as I had at the time investing in that
Mm.
interest. And that was why my business model started. It was to give an example to these young people that I was working with that school isn't the be all and end all. Of course, do your best. And it doesn't necessarily matter if you don't get the results that you need, or you
Mm.
don't get to go to college or go to university. It's a drop in the ocean in the whole time scale. It's a drop in the ocean.
Yeah,
But what you
yeah,
can
it's
do
true.
is find something you enjoy, turn it into a skill, and then there is a market out there. It's just not always the market that everyone else is going for.
Mm.
And that started,
You're
that stayed
shifting.
like,
Sorry, mate. You're shifting the idea of getting the education and learning in a school environment to pick a topic or something that you're interested in and have a go, and then you can apply the education and learning of that skill to get better and improve. But that doesn't mean, at college, university, degrees. It could mean apprenticeships. It could mean doing it yourself, like you did, where you just buy the kit and just play, learn by doing, experimenting, which is a very valid way of doing it. And your business model of word of mouth is huge. A lot of businesses now, I think, have huge presence online, but often lack the word of mouth because it's hard to get people talking about your business when they're not just in front of your face, when they're not just scrolling through your feed on Facebook or whatever, or on the website. So it's actually quite difficult to get the level of word of mouth that you've achieved and how you've sustained over the last kind of decade. But you don't have social media. You've just about got an email address and a phone.
yep.
But that's served you well, hasn't it? Obviously, times are changing now. Uh,
Yeah, it has served me very well, and it served me well because I would be doing work for someone. It would go onto their website, or it would be a show that they're doing, and then someone else would ask, "Who did this?"
mm,
And then it would become a little bit of a running joke. Most of my clients would say, "His name is Martin Steed," and they'll go away and they say, "We can't find him. What's
yeah,
his company?" They say, "I've given you that. That's all you get.
that's
His
it.
name is Martin Steed."
Government classified.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I've googled him. He does. He doesn't appear, or
don't
he
exist.
appears with other people on other
Yeah.
projects. You might see him pop up. Is that him? And they're like, "Yeah," but how does he run a business? So it
But
became
you're
a little
so
bit
you're
of a
so
running joke.
ingrained. Yeah, it has been a running joke, especially between us. I've absolutely begged you to try and get on LinkedIn or Facebook or something, just something, mate, just to show other people. Which is why I was almost forced you in a position to come on the podcast today as a guest, because I think it is important to share with everybody what you're doing. Obviously, this podcast wouldn't be anywhere near as good as it is in terms of the production if you weren't in the background tinkering. I could maybe get by scraping together on OBS, doing it myself, maybe. But it takes me away from speaking to the guest, which is not obviously the ideal scenario. And I'm fortunate that I know you and have you in my network to be able to work with me on it and produce it. So I think your business model works and has worked for you and will continue to work with you. You know, you're a really solid figure ingrained in the community where you live. And I think, but now maybe, you know, maybe from this episode today, where you've put yourself out into the ether and people will be able to Google you and find this video, that maybe we should get you online with some stuff.
I feel
Oh, your
violated.
work is entirely based. You spent so long getting other people online, mate. It's time that
Yeah.
we helped you out and did it for you as well.
I feel violated though. I'm gonna have to go home and have a shower after this.
All right, mate. That's fine. Whatever you need to do, bro. Whatever you need to do. Right. So I think we're 15, 20 minutes in. I think it would be really good now to kind of see what your setup is, and maybe where you are if you want to share. Because we see you, we see your tent. I don't know where you are.
Yeah.
And it's just to stress that you are entirely off grid. There is no electricity. There is no Wi-Fi. There is no router to plug into. You are totally just off grid as you have been for the last 10 years.
Yes.
Maybe you got taxes to pay or something. You're trying to hide something.
The name's not actually Martin.
My bad.
We'll
edit that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's have a look. So what are you editing on now? Where are you?
Okay.
Let's have a look, mate. Let's reveal it.
What do you want to see first?
I think maybe where you are. I think people watching are just going to want to know what you're looking at.
Okay. Right. I am here. Boom. I am the edge
Wow.
of a farmer's field. Okay. And the one day that I decide to come here, you can see there's a small tractor coming up the hill.
Yeah, see it.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
They've decided to plough the field.
He didn't get the memo, did he?
No, he didn't get the memo.
That looks fantastic, though. It's a nice clear day.
It's a bit misty still. Let me there you go.
A bit foggy.
A bit misty still. Yeah, a bit foggy. But yeah, I've set up a little bullet camera outside my tent, which is inflatable.
Yeah.
And that is that area there. And then let's give you a little look inside my tent.
Yeah, let's see what kit you've got and then find out how you've done it. Wow.
So this is just a small setup. Normally I'll have I can look that way.
Oh, there he is.
I'm here. Normally there's lights and things in here as well. But you can see down here there's a little blue box. Okay, so this is a battery pack. This battery pack is a 1500 watt hour battery pack with a 500 watt inverter. Oh, before I go any further, let's just get the tractor passing. The farmer gave me a bit of a strange look this morning when he pulled into his field.
Did he?
And I'm on the edge of it.
Gonna have to.
Yeah, he was a little bit. He was really nice though, to be fair, and he just said, I've got some machinery coming in. You might need to move over a bit," and that was it.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's all right. I can't even hear that.
That's amazing that you can't hear that.
Can't hear it at all. It's incredible.
It's literally, probably when he passed there, maybe 20 meters maximum away from me.
Wow.
Yeah, craziness.
It's impressive. Yeah, really impressive.
So down there, that's a battery pack which runs this show. Everything here is running my main edit machine, my monitor, cameras, the other 2 cameras that are running, they're all powered all from there. Well, actually, they're powered from a UPS, which you can just see. I'm just going to kick it.
Yeah.
There. Okay. Yep. This is my
God,
backup.
don't cut it off.
So I use
so what happens if the battery runs out, or like?
Okay, if my main battery goes down, let me put it back to this for a second. There we go. So I can look straight at you. If my main power goes down, my UPS kicks in. And my UPS on this setup will probably give me about 15 to 20 minutes battery time to be able to shut everything down or work out what the problem is with my main battery, and everything maintained. So as soon as the power cuts, it kicks in, no drop of power, everything continues as normal. So in the past, I've had to run from generators, and I'll always have a UPS connected. And when the generator cuts out, runs out of petrol, UPS kicks in. I'll go sort the generator out, get that up and running again, and it will naturally switch back over. So it's a very important thing to have, for
Yeah,
me
I wouldn't even
anyway.
consider it, mate. You just assume that. Well, how are you going to plug into a field?
Yeah,
And people are experienced in streaming and stuff. I obviously know all about this kit that you've got, but I'm a hardwired video producer, so I will
yep,
run around with a gimbal with cameras on batteries. But when it comes to streaming, that really is for a production team and a AV specialist, which isn't me. I'm more about the camera, the shots, the lighting, the setup,
yep.
the pre-recorded content. But this is awesome stuff. Like, so you can be anywhere. Oh, I can hear the tractor now. It's coming back.
He is. He's back. He's literally stopped. Let me show you where he's stopped. There he is, and
Hey,
he's there. And it's just starting to rain as well. And I've got a little bit of a gathering around. There's some dog walkers out here, um,
yeah.
looking in, wondering what's going on, and the farmer the other side.
Well,
So
mate, if you
yeah,
get mugged, then we've got it on camera. So,
you have.
and if they steal your battery pack, then we'll still see it because UPS will kick in.
And the rain's kicked in now as well. So yeah, all good fun. Good job. I'm in my little tent.
Yeah,
Right, let
absolutely.
me just quickly go back to this little tent of mine. I'll show you some of the things that's happening in here. Tape. Oh, had to use that today to fix my pump to inflate my tent is inflatable, and it
Yeah, I heard you
broke.
had a bit of a
Yeah,
nightmare
so
setting this up this morning.
this
Sorry about
saved
that.
me. So all of these beams here are all inflatable, and it inflates up. So I can have doors or windows. Behind me here is another window,
Yep.
and I can have. So it's a hexagon, and it has
Mm.
3 doors, 3 windows in the doors, and then it has the other panels like this are just windows. So you can have all 6 open if you wish, or just have
Yeah,
that. But it's inflatable, so it takes about normally 5 minutes to inflate, but today it was about 30 minutes.
bit longer.
Joke,
So
absolute joke.
it's worth saying that all this stuff you've got here, we're making a point. Well, you're making a point today because you're showing that you can be completely off grid and still provide a streaming service. And I can think of a few projects in the past that this would have been, really, really good for. But you can obviously be plumbed in to an AV studio with all this stuff. That's probably easy peasy, isn't it? Really, compared to setting up something like this.
Absolutely. I think I personally like the challenge of being remote, being out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah,
doing stuff like this. I like living on the edge. I like that risk, that element of risk, and I think it keeps you sharp. It stops you from being complacent with your setup. So I
yeah,
know at any point this can fall over, and even at the start, I realized that I'd had the merge time was 3 seconds instead of one, so it was really slow when it merged from shot to shot. So I'm fixing that in the background whilst talking to you. You're constantly on the go. I've
yeah,
got dog walkers looking at me, and yeah. So you learn to adapt, and you're constantly kind of thinking, what's going to happen next? What's going to go down? I need to get to this shot. I need to go here. I need to
yeah.
do this. And I like that. I like the level of uncertainty that goes with that, and I like to
Mm.
be able to put as many things in place as a contingency as possible, like the UPS. Um,
Yes, yeah,
if I'm doing a big job and I am on mains internet, then I can also have a 4G, excuse me, router, which is a backup as a failover.
mm.
If that goes
Yeah.
down, it will flick automatically to that and then continue. And I have a big mast that picks up a cell tower in about a 20-mile radius. Um,
Nice,
so
nice.
I'm going to quickly just go back to my kit setup, and I'll show you. It's it's down here. Um, That is
Oh
my
yeah.
little router. I've not even got the big antenna up today. I don't need it here. It's quite open, and the nearest cell tower is literally just over there. You can't see it, but
Mm.
it's over there, um, which is great. So I can just tap into that which isn't far away, and it's
Yeah.
given me really, really good speeds. So I think I've got 30 meg. I think he's doing this to annoy me now, this farmer.
He wants to be famous, doesn't he? He's
He
trying to get his
does, yeah,
15 seconds of fame.
yeah.
He's had it
What
already.
I should have put a wireless cam in his cab.
Oh, mate. Yes.
I've slipped up
Episode
there, haven't
17,
I?
mate. We'll just get you back
Yeah,
next week.
I'll do that. I'll do that. Um, yeah, so I have really quick speeds. I have, let me have a quick look. I had 20, 25 meg down and 31 meg up. And that's off of a 4G router.
Jesus. That's better than what I get at home.
Yeah. There's a lot of people.
But I live out.
How are you
I
doing?
essentially do live in a field,
Yeah,
in the
I'm
middle of
out in the
nowhere.
middle of nowhere now. So you can increase it if you
Oh
wanted
dear.
to go 4G.
Yeah.
It's
It's awesome, mate. I mean, the possibilities are just endless, really, aren't they? In
yes.
terms of you alone as a singular person can take all of this gear and provide a solution to somebody that, you know, a multicam stream, and obviously then you can bring on, you know, other producers and other people and other crew to help you
Yeah.
manage the cameras, you know, cameramen and sound and all that kind of stuff. But at a real basic level, you're able to provide a really, really good, solid quality streaming service. And, you know, I think we should talk a little bit about how important that is, like right now, because all of us, like this podcast came during lockdown because we were stuck at home and there was nothing, like trying to keep my foot in the door of you know, doing video stuff and constantly being, you know, still learning stuff from guests and all that kind of stuff. But other people have been forced to use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, video calling while we've been in this lockdown period. And it is kind of, it's not replacing face to face. I mean, it is at the moment, but in time, I think it will just become part and parcel. So I think it will just be something that we literally add on to our daily life as well. So what do you think? Like, if we're talking about people doing that themselves and they're using Zoom and they're using Microsoft Teams, like, why do you think streaming is so important right now, like during the challenges that we face?
I think staying in contact, being able to do business, to do some form of business, whether
Mm.
and pleasure, but staying in
Yeah.
contact is the most important part through all of this. One just for our own insanity, you know, to stop us from going insane, our own sanity.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
important that we reach out, and it's important that we, you know, that we stay in contact. But not only that, when you look at, and we've all done this, you know, you look at going away and doing a business trip, and before you know it, you're staying over in a hotel for 2 nights. You're going out for something to eat. You've got to travel there and travel back, and before you know it, you've had an hour's meeting in the day, and it's cost you £1,000. and
Yeah.
you would just write that off. You know, that's a business
Yeah.
expense. It's £1,000. And okay, you're using hospitality, so you know you've got the whole hotel and you're keeping someone in your job
Mm-hmm.
and all of
Yeah.
these things. But really, that hour meeting that you had, people are now seeing it can be done online, and it's
Mm.
equally as good, if not better, because people are getting used to the likes of Zoom and Skype, and they're able to concentrate more. They're able to bring it up, you know, PowerPoint presentations or
Yeah.
a
Sharing
Dropbox
files and
folder
stuff.
or
Yeah.
sharing files. They can do all of those
Mm.
things, and they're at home and they can get on with their everyday life as well, but still get their business out there or still hold that meeting or still speak with that
Mm.
client. I think it's important though that we don't go too far that way and we miss that one-to-one contact. We know we're
Yeah, for
sociable
sure.
creatures, and although I'm very
Well,
familiar
you're
with live
not.
streaming, well, no, I'm a hermit. I live under a rock, but
You've
yeah,
already discovered that you don't show your face.
not until now, and even now I
Yep.
feel violated. So yeah, but anyway, I think it's important that we strike that balance of there's technology out there which if you use it correctly can massively influence your business and can
Mm.
massively help your business grow using video content. Whether it's a stream like this or whether it's
Yep.
making something at home and then posting it onto your site.
Yeah.
So
Because
I think
people have become more forgiving, haven't they?
yeah, I think
They've become more forgiving of quality of content and misgivings about quality and lighting and sound. People, but the flip side of that is as people have become more forgiving, people have actually gotten better at it as well. So they're taken into account to have a window or some sort of light source, and not a windy tent. And I
yeah, the
think yeah, it's
wind's picking up, the rain's coming down. Um, yeah, yeah, I think the introduction of oh, what's the best way to put it? Reality TV, probably. The whole,
mm,
the Big Brother when they started, the whole reality TV, it took away that glossy finish that we were so used to watching from a broadcast, whether it was on BBC, ITV, Sky. It
yeah,
was always that polished finish. Reality TV came in and just annihilated that, and people wanted more of it. People wanted to see warts and all. People wanted to see the behind the scenes. Um, they wanted to see people fail, fall over, not to laugh at them, but just because they can relate to it more.
it's
It's
human.
real.
Yeah,
It's human. Yeah,
mm, mm,
and that paved the way for live streaming. It meant that people could do a live stream on a laptop from their kitchen and have their 3-year-old run in and knock a cup of tea on the floor or start shouting
yeah.
because they want breakfast. It became normal, and people they'd have a level of empathy with that if you have children
Mm,
going, oh, I've been there. So I think
yep.
it actually brought people together more than anything else.
It's fair. It's a really good point, mate. Really good point. And I think that will continue to happen. There's still no clear sight to the end of this. And even if a few years down the line, and we're living in what we would consider to be some sort of normality again or normal society, I still think it's going to play a huge. People aren't going to forget that because of from a business point of view, because of the cost saving, and from a human point of view, because of the ability to have that empathy and connect with somebody in seconds at no cost. Um, but obviously, like you say, a fair point, it does have a knock on effect to other sectors. If people aren't traveling as much, people aren't visiting hotels as much, that does have a knock on impact.
Yeah.
But as humans, like you say, we're sociable creatures. We will go, we will do well. We've shown in the last 6 months that as a nation, we're just going to do what we want to do, and then face slash moan about the consequences. So you know what I mean? I think if people are more comfortable working from home, but then splitting some of that time between going to an office and working from home, but being able to connect with everybody over video, then that might be a good shout. I want to talk about one of your projects, mate. So you do the podcast with me,
Hmm.
Video Lowdown, which is great, and I'm hugely appreciative of the time that you take to help me put it out there each week. Um, but you have another a much bigger baby, much bigger project that you do, and it's called the Green Room. And I think it's fantastic what you're doing. It's still like you're still bringing the community together. I'm just going to stop talking. I'll let you talk about what it is and what you do.
Okay. In fact, I'll bring a link in a minute, and I might even show a
All
little
right.
bit of the green room. But the green room is a music project. So I got involved with a guy called Luke Thompson. Didn't really know him before lockdown. Um, Heard him around. He's in a couple of he's in a band and it's quite big in the music scene where I live. I got involved with him recording. I wanted to live stream an open mic event, which was held at our local pub. So I went down to see him. Once I'd gone to see him, we then decided we would do an open mic night. That was probably the tail end of last year.
Mm.
Um, what happened after that? Lockdown kicked in, and we were just starting to gather some momentum. So we decided. I then put it to him. Well, I can do this online. And he looked at me with that kind of blank expression. How?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? I said, well, I'll bring you in remotely. I don't understand. So
Still like what?
yeah, so the green room started with me bringing in up to 6 artists, musicians, remotely into me. I would control the stream, so I would bring them in, I'd bring their audio in separately, so it wasn't compressed. If you ever play audio through Zoom, you'll know what I mean. I don't use Zoom, um, but it's very difficult to have music come over the internet without it being distorted and compressed. So
Mm.
I found a way to bring it in so it was nice and clean. And we ended up doing a show, and the show would be on a Friday evening and would have musicians from all over the place. We had musicians from the States come in, they'd all play, they'd all see each other, they can all talk to each other, they can all see each other on the screen. And then when they would play their track, they would go out live. I would make them big, a bit like that. When they see themselves
Yep.
go big, they would then play a track or 2 tracks, and then it would merge back to this, but there would be a box with 6 people in there all
Mm.
talking. Um,
Yeah.
and I found that lots of musicians were on Facebook and they were becoming Facebook fatigued, sitting there playing an instrument, reading chats going down the right hand
Yeah.
side of their screen.
I've seen a few of
And
those.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just, you know, losing the will to live because they're playing and there's no real feedback. So I wanted to stop that. That's how the green room started. And then this being what I kind of specialize in, being remote, being able to do things, pop up anywhere and do a show, I then took it out to the streets. Not big streets, cul-de-sacs, groves, squares,
Mm.
small spaces. And I wanted to take the idea of a gig and turn it on its head. So rather than trying to cram 400 people into an event and have security and alcohol and all that mess, it was bring the music to the doorsteps. So we would
Yeah, that's
go out,
great.
set up a studio. So I would have this minus the tent, but I'd have all the kit, multiple cameras. We then have backdrops for the green room, artists, and we would be in a street and I would live stream it out for everybody else. And we wouldn't disclose where we were. We would ask the
Yeah.
residents to keep it quiet, just so we didn't get hordes of people coming
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
to view it.
Which you can't have anyway at the moment.
Exactly.
But I guess that
Exactly.
stops. It does stop that. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. So that's how the green room came about. It's for the people, or by the people, for the people. So we do it because we can. I do it because we can. Everyone gives up their time um, to do this, and it's really
Yeah.
starting to gather momentum now. We've had a couple of sponsors, the Core Theatre in Corby. They loved it, and
Mm.
I can't say sponsors, supporters. They supported us, and we pop up in random locations, and we do it that way. So if you'd like, I can
It's fantastic.
grab a
Yeah,
little bit
I
and
think it would be. I think it'd be good to see a little bit, mate. Yeah, if you can,
okay.
because obviously you are able to just bring content and links and videos in. But I've seen it. I've watched it a couple of times. Um, when is it? When is the group? Because it's once a week, is it now?
It's once a week, yeah, and we're doing Sunday afternoons at the moment because it's getting the lights are getting darker. Although we have lights and things, it's getting cold,
Yeah,
so we're now under
yeah,
the
yeah,
gazebos with heaters and things like that.
yeah.
I'm going
But
to
what did
rather
you say recently? You said that it had received like because you've been doing it for a little while now. It had like over you'd reached over like 40,000 people or something like
oh
that over a period of a couple of weeks or something. Was it?
yeah, we went back the statistic. Well, that's a while ago now, and we had reached 40,000 people in 21 days,
Which is three
which is
shows, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
and we'd reached 40,000 people, and I've not checked it since, but the stats are still going up.
it's going up.
Yeah, we started under a pub name originally, and
Yeah,
then about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, we then went under the Green Room brand, rebranded under the Green Room, and went from there. And I think we have 1,600 followers.
Mm.
Yeah.
But the
So
great thing
far.
about going live is those followers will share with their network. So it's an expert. That's a good thing about being on Facebook, doing something like that when you're
Yeah.
like business to consumer, which is not specifically like what it is, but you know what I mean. You're an entity streaming to the public. It's not specifically for business owners, and obviously like most people are on Facebook. So you get majority of those 1,600 people sharing with their network. You're going to reach a lot of people very quickly because it is good shareable content. Like seeing people play the instruments and the music, and the quality though I think is the key. The quality that you're able to oversee, and like the audio quality specifically because it's music, but the video quality as well, bringing all that together makes it watchable. You know, you can forgive somebody at home playing on the guitar if it's a bit of a dodgy connection because it's just them and a guitar and you want to support them. But when you're doing something like this, a production of this this quality and this, you know, the high production value, you're more likely to stay and watch, I think.
Absolutely. Apologies for looking away there. I'm trying to bring stuff in whilst
So yeah,
engage
it's
with
all
you
good.
and run the show and check
Engage
the
with me,
audio.
damn it. Talk to me.
I know. Yeah, the most important thing is, if ever you do any of this, do it to the to the best of your ability, and you don't need all of the kit to be able to do that. That there's lots of tips and cheats and ways to use
Yeah,
everyday bog standard stuff, but make it sound good and look good. Um,
yeah,
I, and that's it. We're just lucky that the musicians that we have decent kits and they're really good musicians, and I
yeah.
have enough kit to be
Helps
able to make it look good. So
facilitate it. Yeah,
yeah, it does help.
absolutely.
But I have a little clip here that I can throw out to you. So
Please do. Yeah.
this was from I'm going to scrub through it a bit as well, so it will kind of jump around.
See a few different things. Yeah. Go for it, mate.
And if only I could hold you, you keep my head from going under. Maybe I'm being blinded by the brighter side. What we had become to get you.
Anyway. But we'll let you get ready, and Jason will give you a hand.
Thank you.
Thanks. Cheers, Tom. But yeah. What was that? Yeah. Stevie's next. All right, mate.
Hi, mate.
So, good to see you again.
You too.
Okay, so you can see there that was
Yeah.
just in the street. We have gazebo set up, and we have the backdrops in there, and we have a chat area, and then we have a performance area as well.
Nice.
And that's a basic setup. I want to show you one more. This was another week that we did where we were outdoors. Here we go.
Do a bit more.
Thinking back, thinking of you. Summertime, thinking was June. Yeah, thinking was June.
I'll just drag it through a little bit further.
Yeah. The lighting through the trees looks really nice.
Yeah, this girl here, Anna May Kelly, are amazing talent.
Don't feel right, it's no good for you, so please come back to me. And every time I look to my right, you're there, always there.
So you can see there we have socially distanced chat area. We have Anna May. She's performing underneath the banner, and then to the right hand side we have a 65-inch screen, and we can bring remote guests in so the audience can see them on the screen, and we put their audio through the PA. And
it's
that
quite
works.
it's quite a big old setup, to be
It's
fair, for just you. You don't have anybody. How long does it take you to get all this stuff up and running and ready to go? And how long do you stream for? How long are you going for once it's all set up?
Okay, so as the weeks have gone on, we've had more people come in and help. So the guy that started that, Luke, he was on the start of both of those videos. He's the host of the show. Now
Mm.
we've grown and people have come on to help. So I actually have 2 camera guys with me now that are operating 1 camera each. They turn up. It takes about anywhere between 2 to 3 hours to set everything up, check it all, make sure
Wow.
it's all running.
Yep.
And that's because we're in different locations every time. So it's not as if we have
Mhm.
a blueprint that fits. We're going to
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
locations. Sometimes we have to drag kit from a car across a field and into wherever. Then we're looking at power and all sorts of things. So although that setup there, I have run that entire setup off 2 of those batteries,
Wow.
and they
For the
run
duration of
for
what?
the
A couple of
duration.
hours?
Yeah,
Wow.
2.5 hours, and I've ran audio, lighting. Not so much here on these ones. We didn't need the lighting, but yeah, the whole lot. And I've
The
ran
quality's
those
insane.
on 2.
The camera quality. Like I got a couple of comments on YouTube saying the quality is great, even from a field. Like the quality of you now, where you are, just doing on, not being plugged into like a router.
Yeah.
And somebody saying it's a really cool setup. So I think, yeah, it's really impressive what you can do, because everybody just assumes you got to be plumbed in, you got to be doing it from a
No,
hardwired location. But the
no.
fact that you can just go anywhere I think is appealing as well to people that want to be doing stuff like the green room and that. I think it's really, really good.
Absolutely. I'm just going to show you this little bit here. So this is with lighting.
Go, catch a falling star, leave a trail of stones so I'll know where you are. Take good care of your dreams and I'll be here when you're there.
Okay, so that started off in daylight and ended up evening.
Right.
So
Yeah,
we're
nice.
constantly changing lighting, changing camera settings to make it all work as we kind of go through. But
Yeah.
yeah, an average show is about 2 hours or so. I should really put a link up for it, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you should probably. Well, we'll come to that, because you don't worry, mate. You do get your own plug slot at the end. So
Okay.
yeah, you can definitely lead people to it for sure. Mate, it's so interesting to see this stuff. I don't think a lot of people get an opportunity really to see like a true behind the scenes of a setup like this, and I'm really glad that you decided to take it out to a location that is completely unexpected. I didn't know before, I genuinely didn't know. Obviously, I knew you were the guest, but I genuinely didn't know where you were before you did the reveal. Even on our we kind of called in to each other about 9:30 this morning, and I only could see you with the tent. I didn't know
Yeah.
where you were. And I think, the accessibility of this stuff. So what you were saying earlier about education and learning, like you've acquired all this kit over a period of time and developed and like molded and transferred skills from what you used to do with the workshops and the theatre to now bringing it to to the people in the street, and you've always been community focused. So I think for businesses now looking to use virtual and needing to stream their events, can your setup do that? We're looking at you as one guy with loads of kit in a field. You can do the stuff with the green room, but what about if we were to then drop that stuff in a studio environment, and we've got multiple presenters in virtual virtual scenarios and virtual studios, and how would that work with the stuff that you do?
Yeah, it's really what I'm using it for within the community is scratching the surface of it. It's
Yeah.
designed for studio based broadcast productions. So I can have up to 8 SDI broadcast cameras coming into my suite that I can switch between.
Yep.
I can bring in people remotely, like you're coming into my system
Yep,
remotely
yep.
today. I can bring in people remotely. I can bring in NDI, which is network-based cameras. I can bring those in remotely. Or if I'm on a network, I can make a network here, for instance, and bring a mobile phone in quite easily. So it's very versatile. It fits both my community needs with plenty of room to grow. But if I do corporate and commercial work, which I do, I have done up until obviously this year where it's all gone flat, but very often I will do conferences and conventions, and I'll be there with multiple cameras. I'll bring in feeds from laptops. I'll be bringing in guests from all over the place, and I do a couple of events every year. I'm involved with ComCon being one of them, SimCon being another, and I go there with this setup, sit at the back of the room, and pretty much run the video side of the show. They'll have a screen up. I'll send content to a screen. I'll live stream out and I'll record for them at the same time. So
yes, you've got a backup of the record.
Yeah. So I work in both the community aspect, but also commercial and corporate as well. I've just made my living really in the community base, and I don't compete massively for the commercial side
in that space. Yeah.
The biggest problem with that is a lot of the time I'm overlooked because I don't have the website. I don't have the social media.
Of course.
I
that
don't
big
have
brand
all those
image.
Things, that big brand image.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, I suppose I'm like the Aldi compared to Asda. You know, Aldi took ages to get out there. Everyone was like, or Netto. Remember Netto? Netto was...
well, vaguely.
Yeah. It was just one of those, stack them high, everything's on pallets, dirt cheap. You know, you could buy a tin of beans was cheaper than buying the plastic bag. It's like, you know, craziness. How much for the bag? 10p. Tin of beans, 6p, or you know, something crazy like that. But it was still food. It was still, some of it was great quality, others, you know, not so much. And I think with industries, with the corporate and commercial, unless you have that big shiny package around you and you look like this, they won't entertain you unless it's word of mouth. So the ones that I do, the corporate commercial ones, is word of mouth. Other companies have been at the event that I have been live streaming and filming, and they've said, please, can you come and do ours? And that's how it grows. So it's still word of mouth. Well,
absolutely.
But within a corporate area.
Yeah. And hopefully showing the stuff that you can do today in quite a unique way. You know, I want it to open a few more opportunities for you. Obviously, this is by no means like a salesy podcast at all, but I would always recommend you as the go-to stream person, because all right, you are one person, but you can bring in other people to help if there's a bigger requirement. But your knowledge and your skills at problem solving, and I know you love to, if there's an issue, you must find a solution, and you will not stop until you've found that solution.
I'm like a dog
and
with a bone.
You love, exactly, and I know that from the past, and you know, it's I think your skills fit nicely in the environment at the moment, that you know, where people are needing to have access to this type of service, but maybe don't have 10, 20, 30 grand. But even if they do have that budget, then obviously you've got, you know, I mean, look,
keep
look
going.
where you
Sorry.
are. Look at the quality. Look at the quality of where you are.
The big boys come out now.
Is he coming to get you, mate? If he starts turning to the right, I think
he's just putting all these gear down now. It's quite interesting, actually. So
oh, there he is.
Off he goes. Sorry, Jamie, I absolutely
sorry, mate.
took you away from your train of thought there.
No, it's fine, mate. It's fine. It's a beauty.
That was
The beauty of it, mate. The beauty of it. So yeah, I think that the stuff that you're doing is fantastic, and hopefully, you know, people watch. We've gone for nearly about an hour now, actually. So we'll wrap it up in a couple of minutes, but that's fine because like it's a bit of an unusual setup. You know, all the other guests that we talk to, you know, they are doing exactly the stuff that you're talking about. They're calling in from home on their own internet with, you know, maybe maybe they're really used to it, maybe they're not used to it. So I think it's really good for people, not only guests previously, but people who just watch the podcast to see the man behind the production of the podcast, and also what other skills and what other stuff you do. Because I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's what I enjoy doing, and I'm happiest chasing cables, and you know, audio comes into one bit and then it disappears, and it's like, where's it gone? So,
Whereas if I had that issue, I'd be like, Martin, you need to come and sort this out for me because they sent my bag.
you've done it many times when you've been borrowing kit, and I get that phone call.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, right. Have you done this? No. Have you done this?
Yeah.
Right. Do this, and then you're off again. And I like that. I really like that. I don't really like film, as crazy as it sounds. I'm not.
Okay, we'll just end it there, mate. I think
know,
you've
exactly.
just undone all of the.
I like the tech side. I like making things work. It's a big puzzle, and I'm not a big film buff, which is when we first met. You were,
yeah.
How do you do what you do, and you don't really watch films? Because I like why things work and how things work.
But that's where the partnership of somebody like you and somebody like me comes together really well, because all of the stuff that you really enjoy doing, making it work, making the sound good, making the visual, like, then I will come in with you and say, well, we want to frame it there, the lighting here, we need these graphics, this assets, these animations, put all of that together, and you facilitate that. And that's a perfect harmony of a working relationship in terms of streaming, because you do tend to get the AV guys who can do all of the stuff, but they need the assets, they need direction from a producer, and they need, you know. So I think, yeah, that's great. And knowing, you know, we say it to a lot of people, don't we? But knowing what you're really good at and focusing on that is key to do really well in your field, because you can upskill and learn, but to be a jack of all trades is okay, but to really niche down and go, right, well, this is what I really enjoy and what I'm good at, and I'm going to build on that, that I think is a good place to go. Martin, where can people see Green Room then? We've got your email address and phone number up at the very end, but where can people go to find this stuff?
Oh, let me bring it in. I need to make a banner of some sort, don't I?
You do.
Oh,
You do.
Just
Absolutely.
honestly, today disappeared. So it's actually it's the Green Room. Well, it's actually Facebook, but it's the Green Room Online UK. I'm going to see if I can quickly find it and bring it in.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
1 second. Doing stuff on the run. Right, where are
Yeah,
we?
it's all good. It's the beauty of live, though, mate. It's doing it while we're chatting. I think, you know. So if you guys watching at home while Martin's trying to find the Facebook page for the Green Room, let me know when you've got it, mate. He didn't. I was going to ask him to share it, to be fair, so I didn't really give him any time to find it. But hopefully this is, like, maybe, I don't know, inspired you to have a go at live streaming. Not maybe to the extent obviously Martin's done with all the kit, but in terms of talking to your audience, in terms of getting your face out there, getting your name out there, I think you know, streaming obviously is, you know, definitely the way to go. And you know, the stuff that Martin does with his kit, you know, being in the middle of a field or being in, you know, a studio, means that it is a viable option for, you know, for you. And I'm really grateful to Martin, you know, for helping me out every week with the podcast, because, you know, this is a green screen. I don't have a brick wall kitchen, and you know, Martin does it all. I just talk to the guest every week, and he does everything else, which is fantastic. How you getting on, mate?
Okay, I think
You got it.
I may have.
It must be hard because you're not on Facebook, so you probably don't know how to navigate it.
I
Probably
don't,
quicker if
I'll
I
be
found
honest
it
with
for you.
It's all gobbledygook. Okay, but Here is our
There it is.
there is our Facebook page. So we are
Nice.
on Facebook, and we are the Green Room Online UK. We don't want
Wow,
that
that
to
was loud.
happen, do we? I'm going to turn
That was
that-
loud.
That was very loud. That's what happens when you that's what happens when you don't quite bring things in correctly and stuff like
That's
that.
fine,
happens.
mate. So
But it's the-
everybody needs to go and check it out. Yeah, I think they can watch the past streams real quickly, Martin. I forgot I hadn't really mentioned this, but some people watching with the teams that I work with will know of this software. But you use Vmix, don't you? Which is basically an industry kind of standard for this sort of thing. I've worked with quite a few AV teams now on events that use Vmix, so it's important for people to know. I think that you're not just using an alternative solution; it's the go-to.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to go back to this image, and I'm going to steal this camera.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Bear with me. Oh. Let me do this just while I rip this off the stand.
We're going to get a really close
Yeah.
DIY.
Oh, come here.
Oh.
Right. Couple of seconds.
See the cables
There we go.
hanging out the back of it. Nice. Oh wow, look at that.
Okay.
There he is.
So this is called the Vmix Go Box. So this was a purpose-built by Vmix originally. They specialize in software, but at the moment they just do software. They originally did hardware as well, but soon realized that things change so rapidly that they would stick with software. So around the side here, it has all the SDI inputs and also 2 XLR inputs or 1/4-inch jack. They're multi-purpose sockets, and 2 at the bottom are outputs.
Nice.
Okay, so these 2 ports here, they can be both input or output. So often if I'm running to a big screen, I'll take SDI cable out of there and run it to a screen and then convert it to HDMI. I have my little, you can't really see it because of the light, but this is an X keys 24 key buttons.
Oh yeah,
and I use those
nice.
for controlling the show, along with this one this side. So these are volume switches. This is you, this is me,
Oh,
and then all
there's
these
me.
buttons can be for different camera shots. So I can cut through different things.
Nice.
And then I have my one of my Canons up there. But this piece of kit here, I couldn't do what I do without this. The options are massive. So I have audio options here, internet connection, so RJ45, and it's all in a box with a screen. It's built in, and then you pack it away. But it gives me so much versatility being able to use something like this.
Yeah,
I may
it's
as well
fantastic, mate.
show you really quickly the rest of mine, because I'm conscious about the time, because we've been going.
Yeah, we're just over an
way
hour now,
too
mate. So
long.
might as well go for another 2.
Yeah, why not? So yeah, this is my tent, basically. I'm going to cut back to it's very bright on this camera. I don't think I've set it up properly. I haven't. I'm going to use the other one. Nothing like doing this kind of stuff live, is it? It's mental.
But this is all the stuff, to be fair, we didn't know we were going to do this, but
Yeah.
in all fairness, this is stuff that's all tested when you've got the time to do it. This is all stuff that's tested before.
Yes.
If you're doing it for a client, for example, and you're putting all this stuff together, all the cameras and lights and everything's tested, and it's a lot of the events that I work on, everything is pre-rehearsed. There's very little room, even when a segment of the video is live. So we deal a lot with like Simulive, which is like simulated it's going out as a live video, but most of it is pre-recorded. But
Yeah.
you can include some elements of live presenting or somebody calling in live to have a chat. But that's pretty much, in terms of the extent that the events I've worked on, tends to be mostly because they want to control the message, and they want to add features like polling and interactivity features. But actually, all of that is pre-planned, it's pre-thought, and then it's made to appear as if it's going out at a specified time, live. So yeah, it's important to say, like what you said earlier about 20% filming and 80% editing. It's actually more like 30% planning, 20% filming, 50%. Like you're almost planning as much as you are editing in terms of like in actual post-production.
Absolutely.
And then in terms of a stream, oh, there we go.
There's
Me and Farmer.
There's you, so you're now in this
It's
location
freezing, mate.
as well. It's just you're a soft lad. That's all. But
Yeah, mate. I've got my t-shirt on.
Yes, you're all cool.
Oh, it's windy as well.
It is. The wind starts.
Yeah,
to
it's a
pick
bit,
up
mate.
now,
Yeah.
and
Get me back inside, lad. It's freezing out here.
There you go. You're back in.
There
You're
we go.
back in.
Thanks. Cheers.
Um,
I'll put my coat on in a minute.
So it's let's just cut back to that outside shot. In fact, give me literally 10 seconds. Well, a bit more, 30 seconds. I'm going to leave you talking to the audience. I'm going to go and turn that camera around that's outside. I'll literally be a couple of seconds.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Guys, if you've got any, I realise it's a bit of a longer episode today, but if you've got any questions for Martin, we're probably now not going to have time to answer the questions now. But if you've got any questions about streaming or questions that you would like to ask about his setup or, the experience that Martin's had, or if you're thinking of doing, a live stream yourself, whether it's through a company that you work through for a large scale event, or whether it's just yourself getting on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever going live, make sure you reach out to him. We will show his email and phone number at the end. And yes, I'm afraid you will have to email him or call him. WhatsApp, to be fair, he does have WhatsApp, but you can't get him yet on any social media. But I am working really hard to get him on that. How you doing, Martin? You back yet?
I'm back, yeah.
Good man.
There we go. So
yeah, fantastic.
that's kind of an external. I'm literally just sitting on the entrance to a farmer's field. Yeah, so when he pulled round, he was a little bit, what are you doing here?
It's like, what the hell? It looks fantastic, mate. Really good.
So yeah, I just wanted to.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I think it's great, and the flexibility, the versatility of your setup as well. How quickly you can change the camera angles and add inputs and bring this stuff in. I think it's brilliant, mate. I think we're past an hour now, so I think we should look at wrapping it up. But I did just ask the people watching if they've got any questions to get in touch with you, and they can do via your email address. I did say you're on WhatsApp. To be fair, that's probably too much information. Yeah, so you might get flooded with WhatsApps now.
Jeez, you've done it now.
But listen, Martin, I really appreciate you taking the time today, mate. I think it's the direction everybody's going in. I think your skills and the stuff that you do is not going anywhere anytime soon. And yeah, I just really, huge thanks for coming on.
You are welcome. Yeah, it's strange. I'm normally very much behind the camera.
You are.
So it's a little bit weird to be in front of the camera. But hey,
it's great, mate. It was really good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I really appreciate you being quite open with sharing your setup. And thanks for doing it from a field. You can pack up and go home now.
Ooh, thank you. Well, before I go, I was building this as well. So yeah, there it is. Facebook.com. Hey, you need to stay on. Don't disappear. There we go. Facebook.com.
Yes. Nicely done. Last minute. Now like last minute.
Get in there.
Excellent, mate. Excellent.
Yeah, but that's where you'll find the green room. Come and take a look and enjoy.
Excellent, mate. Really appreciate it, Tinez. Well, mate, let's speak later. thanks for coming on. And you know, yeah, let's catch up. I don't know. Yeah, we have actually got somebody booked in for next week. So I'll talk to you about that later. But mate, thank you again for taking the time to set up. I know it takes a little bit of time to do that. And hopefully those watching have really enjoyed a little bit of a behind the scenes of how you do it.
Yeah, well, hope so. Hope it was what you wanted it to be at the end of the day. That's the most important part. It's your show. So
No, absolutely, mate. It was great having you on, mate. Really, really, really enjoyed it.
cool. Right. Okay.
Cheers, mate. Peace out.
Peace out.
Catch you later. There we go, guys. Martin, the guy behind the podcast. I know that was quite a longer episode than normal. Do apologise, but you know, as we were talking and showing stuff, I didn't want to cut it too short. So, yeah, I hope that was okay, and I hope you did enjoy seeing what Martin can do, and how, you know, us talking about streaming and seeing some of the cool ways that you can you know, put your stream out there. If you do enjoy the podcast, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. It means a lot to me. It means that we can just, you know, try and each week get that reach out, you know, a little bit further. I do have a goal of trying to get to 200 subscribers by Christmas. And I think we're hovering around 150, 147 at the moment. So it would be greatly appreciated if you enjoyed this content to share it, let other people know about the podcast, and you know what we're doing with it. It'd be great. You can leave a review as well on Facebook or on Apple Podcasts. That would be fantastic too. All this stuff really helps, you know, to get it out to new people who may otherwise not know about it. So I really, really appreciate you guys doing that and helping me out. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be back on a regular format next week with another guest to talk about how they're using video. See you next week.